You know how it is, right? You're having a perfectly good day, and then one little thing, a single negative comment, a thoughtless action from someone, and boom, your whole mood just tanks. Suddenly, everything feels heavy, your mind is just noisy. We've all been there. Today, we're going to talk about how to take back your power in those exact moments.
It really doesn't take much, does it? But here's a powerful truth I want you to hold on to. It's not the event itself that messes things up, it's our reaction to it. That little bit of space between what happens and how we respond, well, that's where all our power lies. If you can learn to manage your reaction, you control the moment. Simple as that.
And that's really the core idea for us today. The person who can stay calm on the inside, well, they're the one who ultimately wins on the outside. And to really get a feel for this quiet kind of strength, we're going to dive into a simple but really profound story.
Okay, so picture this. A quiet little village tucked away in some rolling green hills. And in this village lives a young man. We'll call him Thomas. Now, Thomas was strong, physically, but in his spirit he felt this constant weakness, this heavy feeling he just couldn't shake.
See, Thomas's problem wasn't a lack of courage. It was a lack of peace. He reacted to absolutely everything. You throw a harsh word at him, you'd get one right back. An insult? Oh, he'd carry that around with him for days, just letting it fester. And he wasn't just angry, he was exhausted, totally tired of this weight inside him, this personal darkness that could make even the sunniest day feel gray.
And this brings us to the key idea of our story. Every single time someone hurt him with their words or their actions, Thomas would imagine it was like a stone. And almost without thinking, he'd stoop down, pick up that stone, and pop it into an invisible bag he carried on his back. A bag that, you can imagine, was getting heavier and heavier every single day.
So one morning, feeling that weight more than ever, Thomas just decides he's had enough. He has to get away. He starts climbing a mountain path, just hoping to clear his head. And it's up on this path that he runs into a wise old merchant.
And the difference between them was just night and day. There's Thomas, all hunched over, his face is gloomy, and every single step looks like a real effort. And then you have the merchant, who's walking with these light, easy steps, a kind look on his face, carrying just this tiny little bundle. The real difference wasn't what they were carrying in their hands, but what they were carrying in their hearts.
So the merchant, he sees Thomas struggling, right? And he asks him, what in the world is in that heavy bag? Thomas opens it up, and it's just full of these stones, all different shapes and sizes. And he says, These are the stones people threw at me. They're insults, they're lies. I pick them up and I keep them. I feel like I can't just throw them away. The merchant, he just listens so patiently. And then he reaches down, picks up a stone from the path, and says something that changes everything for Thomas. He says, "The person who hurt you, they threw their words, and then they just walked away. For them, that stone is just lying on the path, totally forgotten. But you chose to pick it up. You chose to put it in your bag. You chose to carry it."
And this is just so crucial. The merchant showed him that the burden was never the insult itself. The burden was Thomas's choice to carry it. The weight wasn't forced on him. He was the one adding it to his own journey, step by step. I mean, what a huge shift in perspective.
And you could just see it click for Thomas. It was like a quiet thunderclap in his mind. He finally got it. All this time, he'd been collecting these stones that never belonged to him in the first place. He was carrying burdens that were never his to carry.
And with a little nod from the merchant, Thomas starts to empty his bag. He reaches in, pulls out the first stone, and just lets it fall. And then another, and another. And with every single stone that hit the ground, he could feel this pressure just leaving his chest. You could literally see his shoulders rise. And for the first time in what felt like forever, he looked up and truly saw the sky, saw the beauty of the world around him.
So, when Thomas went back to his village, he put this lesson to work. When someone spoke harshly to him, he would pause, he'd take a breath, and he'd picture their words as a stone falling right at his feet. And then he'd ask himself one simple question: do I really want to carry this? And you know what? Most of the time, the answer was a clear no. And his steps got lighter, and his heart started to feel warm again. Okay, so Thomas's story is great, but it's more than just a nice tale. It's a practical tool. It gives us a really simple but powerful practice that you and I can use to start lightening our own emotional load, day by day. It's a really simple 5-step ritual. Before you go to sleep tonight, just find a quiet place to sit for 1 minute. Think about one heavy moment from your day. A rude comment, maybe a disappointment at work. Now imagine that moment is a physical stone in your hand. Feel its weight. Then just whisper to yourself, "This stone is not mine. I release it." Take a slow, deep breath and imagine setting that stone down, leaving it right there. It belongs to yesterday now, not to you. Because at the end of the day, that's the bottom line. We can't control what other people do or say. The world is always going to throw stones. That's a given. But we always have the power to choose what we pick up and what we decide to carry with us on our journey.
You see, real peace isn't something that comes from a perfect world where everyone is kind all the time. It doesn't come from out there. It comes from in here. It begins with that one simple, powerful decision to see the stone for what it is and to just let it lie where it falls.
So as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this question. Think about your day, or maybe your week. Is there a weight you've been carrying around that isn't really yours? What stone will you decide to let go of today?